he would look at me and I could 100% say, oh, your choreography's gone. You're just looking at me. Oh my gosh, let me explain this, Joe. It can be a little bit confusing, but the term ballroom dancing is given to this style that we do. I would have been so excited to do dedication night with Reggie because we were actually going to dance to Family Matters, the theme song. Him watching me and then understanding what I'm saying, and then like his arms, we would call these sunshine arms, and I would be sunshine arms, and he would just, oh my, it just made me so happy. When I get my own podcast, I'm going to be like, right, what equipment do you have? Look at all the lights.
I'll send you everything. It's great.
Yes, please. I want this in my place.
Would you do a podcast?
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about it lately. It's so interesting. I love talking about, I just love talking in general. I love connecting. For me, it's like, I think it's the consciousness, this whole talk about like a higher consciousness. I'm kind of mindful, and which sounds crazy now because everyone's like so mindful, so demure. Yeah, so demure. But yeah, I'm really interested I'm in the growth mindset and hearing about people's journeys.
You should definitely do it.
Yeah, but then you know what you tell yourself, which is why I'm so interested in hearing about you and how you've become so successful, is you tell yourself, oh no, there are some people that really dedicate their entire like being to this, and whilst I'm dabbling, it's like I don't know if I would make it work if I wasn't like all in. And so I tell myself, no, I either have to be all in or I'm out type situation.
Totally. I think I have been all in all the time for over a year now.
That's so great.
And
look at you.
It's definitely like I've seen the growth and I've seen it working, and I've noticed that when I do go all in, you see that return. Mm-hmm. But there also is that satisfaction of if you're not all in, you still get that same return.
Yes.
Just in a different feeling.
Yes.
But I think the fact that I do go so hard with it is a big factor, because then people are like, oh, I got to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so hard now on social media to really get your voice out
100%.
there.
100%. You have to be consistent. And I figured this out, and you're probably already rolling, but I figured this out this year on Dancing with the Stars, actually a little bit from Ilona Ma. And it was like, whatever you put out, she doesn't do drafts. She films it and she posts it immediately. And I'm like, that is so cool. I've become so conscious about over filtering and, oh no, got to post at certain hours. No one cares. It's not about that. Like, I think you just don't overthink things. And now I'm trying not to overthink social media. And I'm like, this is kind of silly. It might not work. I'm just going to put it out anyway. People like more consistency. And it's not even about what people like. It's just, did I film it? Great. If I filmed it, then I should just post it.
If you enjoyed it,
don't overthink.
That's what people like.
Yeah.
The algorithms change so much over the years now that if you post 10 pieces of content in a day, you don't annoy anybody. It's not like people want that.
That's what my manager's saying. He's like, this whole oversaturation doesn't really exist anymore. People are just wanting things, so just put it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Because if that 1 out of 10 videos blows up, then it pushes the other videos, and then that's the audience that wants to see it anyway.
Yeah, and I think that it's nice when you get to know someone on social media that you don't get the filtered version of them, and you don't get the, every now and then this is what I've chosen for you to see. If you see more of the variety of stuff, like this week I posted because it was World Mental Health Awareness Day, World Mental Health Day. And I'm super into awareness on mental health and uplifting everybody and showing that support. So I chose to do a post on that, and then the day afterwards I posted a stupid post about Reggie VelJohnson doing a backflip that I'd photoshopped, and he was trying to like pretend to be Danny Amendola. But I was like, I'm really proud of myself for like not putting myself into a box and being consistent in a flavor, because they're both me. So why can't I just be that? And sometimes you overthink things. It's just not supposed to be that way.
And then we found out the real reason why the elimination happened was because you let Danny do the backflip.
100%. Yeah, duh. I was being nice.
Nice guys finished last.
Yes.
Unreal.
Yes, I know. And then I went out with my friend BRIT, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm loving the videos you guys are all doing now.
Thanks.
They're really funny.
Thank you.
I'm going to try some Magic Mind.
Let's do it.
So I've had it now for 3 days, and it's just like a cognitive repair. Keeps my mind sharper, more focused, tastes great.
Let's try it.
It's just a shot.
Can I just read this? Sharper mind, lower stress, calm energy with 12 magical ingredients. Well, you're speaking to the right person here because I love magical ingredients. Reclaim your brain.
Ashwagandha, turmeric.
Let's try it.
I like doing it in a shot form.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you have to keep these in the fridge?
Yes. They're
I'm
delicious,
gonna
though.
get some of those. That's really nice.
I'll send you some.
Please.
Yes.
I would love that. Way to go. Magical mind. No, magic mind.
They'll definitely send you stuff, too, if you want.
100%.
I'll have them send you it.
Oh, my God. Thank you. I would be obsessed with that. I mean, that's literally right up my alley. Magic is my word.
Right up my mind.
Yeah, right up my mind. Yeah.
Also, there's a code in the description down below if you guys want to try Magic Mind for yourself. I think it's Magic Mind /lightweights. Lightweights. Use the code lightweights. We're so sorry to see you go. You and Reginald were so fun together.
Thank you.
Is it harder to figure out choreography for someone who might not have as much mobility?
I'm just going to be honest. In the past, I would have said yes because your choreography becomes a way of, oh, what do I need to conceal?
What do you mean? Like hiding their
So
weak?
if somebody can't dance, and by the way, I don't think Reginald is an example of this because if you look back at Reginald VelJohnson 35 years ago, he is quite a dancer. Like he was doing tap solos. He did Broadway. He did musicals. He can count music very well. He actually didn't have a problem in the dance studio picking up. Obviously, it's not the most agile choreography, but picking up footwork and patterns felt natural to him. He's just more senior. So in his, older years, he finds it difficult to retain that kind of information, and his body will not, there are limitations now to what his body can actually do. However, the love of dance and his ability to count music and his rhythms was in his body, and he loved it. He had such a great time. So, but in many respects, if you get a partner on the show that is maybe not as natural when it comes to dancing, there are certain things that you want to make sure your partner doesn't do on stage because it's a bit of a giveaway that, oh, they can't count music or they can't hear that. So it is a little bit more tricky with the choreography for sure. But with Reggie, it was such a relief. I found myself with Reginald VelJohnson in a place where I could have so much fun. There wasn't any pressure on us. No one was expecting him to come out and be like Jordan Fisher or somebody that was going to completely just like, oh my God, I'm gobsmacked. But he did have people flawed for a different reason. And that was just his ability to bring joy and brightness. And it was really very special and unique to him. So we really honed in on that. I've never once choreographed facial expressions in a routine like I did with Reggie. So they would be surprise face. They would be sunshine. I called it sunshine face at one point. I would have confused face was in there. So we had all of these facial expressions that he would do. And honestly, they were a little bit more reliable than his footwork at the end of the day because he would consistently have these expressions in his face. And then when it came to the dancing, he would be a little bit nervous sometimes, I feel. And so sometimes the steps would just boop, even though I would be, telling him and prompting him and kind of yelling choreography at him. Sometimes choreography would just leave, and it was just him. And I did not care one bit because I knew he was trying his best and I knew people would love him for who he was. So to me, it was the most uplifting, least pressure of a season that I could have had.
You said he was nervous to dance in front of America?
I would say that Reggie was nervous when it came to showtime because he would quietly tell me, oh, I'm nervous.
No.
Yeah, no, he'd hold his hand and I'd be like, stop. You're dancing with me. I'm telling you everything. I'm keeping my eyes on you. Let's just have fun. And he'd be like, you're right.
And just like that, nerve
Yes!
settle.
But I would know sometimes when he was nervous because he would look at me and I could 100% say, oh, your choreography's gone. You're just looking at me. And we would laugh about it. Like, it was literally, I had the best time. I just thought he was amazing.
16 seasons as a pro. Mm-hmm. Do you get nervous anymore?
Yes, I
do.
do.
When does that kick in?
Well, unfortunately / fortunately, I'm really empathetic. So I think what happens is when I'm in the ballroom and you've got 12 or 13 couples around you and the celebrities all get very, very nervous, I'm picking up everybody's energy and I get really nervous, even though I'm a professional dancer. I've been doing this for over 25 years now and I shouldn't get nervous. I know what I'm doing. I choreograph this dance, but I get nervous and I think it's because of everybody else's nerves. Yeah. And then I try to tell myself, well, if I'm nervous, my partner's nervous, so I better do a better job. So I try to ground myself. I try to shut out everybody else's energy. And I've become a little bit better at that. But I think Reggie made it easier for me this year.
When you're like shaking left and right, I think Derek even said it, but are you losing your balance?
In the last dance that Reggie and I did, it was cha-cha, and it was the last couple of moves in that I really wanted to go in on.
You did.
And I did. And I knew, like, listen, it's a strong song. It needs strong choreography. Reggie can do that. Arms, face. I needed something more in terms of like a dynamic movement. So I was like, okay, let me just head whip like 3 times here. And then he's going to like push his arm up twice. And then I'm going to come around the corner. I'm going to head whip again. And then he's going to push me down and up and down. I just needed it to be dynamic. I was dizzy at the end of that. So dizzy. I had to go into physiotherapy for my neck a little bit, but it was really worth it.
When you're in rehearsals, are you going 100% at that move?
I did not go 100% until like 2 days before. And I was like, okay, Reggie, this is what it's going to feel like. And so... They didn't show the clip of that, but he was like, it was a lot for him. And I'm telling him, I think my prompts at that point where I'm going into the dip was face. So he would really attack it with the facial expressions. But I had to remind him that, because if I didn't, he would just let me do it and he would, not be as expressive with his face, but I needed him to be in it. So I would go down, face, down, face, down, face, down, punch the arm. And I would tap it. I would be tapping the arm and he'd go. It was literally like choreography of my words and choreography of my body too.
Have you leaned more into the social media this season than you have in the past for votes?
Yes. Social media, I think, has really changed on Dancing with the Stars, and like massive shout out to Riley Arnold. I think that she changed the game. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of her for instilling that in all of us Dancing with the Stars. People have been around a little bit longer, like myself. It's really, really nice to have somebody like Riley come into the show, and it is an absolute breath of fresh air. She is so classy and she's so what we needed. And I really appreciate her presence on social media because she teaches me a lot. She teaches all of us a lot. And so I'm really proud of her for being the instigator of pushing, I think, Dancing with the Stars socials forward. I know I'm heavy with the compliments on her, but I just think she's awesome. So it's made me feel differently about social media. I have a lot of fun just being a bit of an idiot on TikTok, and I think it's okay sometimes to go online and be a bit stupid in the name of being humorous and just having a good time. And so I've restricted myself less on what I put out, and I've just had more fun. And being with Reggie made that easy. I sort of found early on that Reggie was a star on social media because he was just so wholesome and naturally funny. And so I was totally happy to just push him straight forward and center in my social media on TikTok especially. I even changed my bio to become assistant to TikTok star Reginald VelJohnson. And I thought about making him his own TikTok, but I'm going to have a conversation with him about that, because I really think if I don't push it forward, he's not going to use it. So I just need to figure out whether he is going to continue to live on my TikTok, or if I'm going to make him one and maybe teach some people around him like how to use it. But I have since we've been eliminated, I have since asked Reggie to send me some voiceovers and some sounds, and he hasn't done that yet. So I'm going to need to physically go over there and first of all catch up with him. Hi, how are you? Have you been? Like, have you been eating? Because I would have to ask him that every day. I'm like, what are you eating? Because sometimes he'd be like, oh, I'm just, I haven't been eating. And I'm like, wait, what? Let me bring you some food. And then I'm going to be doing some TikToks with him.
I want to see him do a voiceover for a get ready routine. Makeup routine.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Get ready with me. That would be fantastic. I mean, he's got no hair. He doesn't wear makeup. But he's got a lot of fantastic shirts, so I think it might be like a little outfit haul or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Alfonso's been talking a lot about how we're getting the most votes. We, as in I'm part of it. Alfonso's been talking a lot about how the show's been getting the most votes, the highest rankings. Do you think that's because social media has kind of come into the picture now?
Absolutely.
Because even me, I just started watching last season.
You know what is interesting to me, Joe, is I've seen a lot of TikToks saying, how is this the first season of Dancing with the Stars I've been watching? It feels like everybody on TikTok and Instagram are talking about Dancing with the Stars right now. And in a world where a lot of TV content is sort of going down in viewership, we've actually had an uptrend and we're having the most people vote. It's been pretty cool to be part of that. It's almost like Dancing with the Stars has had a massive online revival and it's now the hot thing to talk about. And I'm really proud. And I think that the reason why a lot more people are talking about Dancing with the Stars on social media is because potentially we as a cast have pushed ourselves more forward online. So it's really important to push out the silly content and to be real online on Instagram, on Snapchat now, on TikTok. And I think that kind of like buzz and friendliness has spilled over to the viewership, and now they're starting to make a lot more TikToks. Some people have been making elimination videos of their responses to the eliminations that have got over 300,000 likes. And it's incredible to think that their little videos are going viral and people are interested in watching. It's really cool.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
I love all the behind the scenes content because you guys work so hard 6 days a week, 4 or 5, it goes on hours a day. And we only get to see you in that minute and a half dance routine and maybe the 1 minute promo before.
Yes.
So to see what really goes on, it pulls the curtain back to see how much work really goes into it.
Yeah. And it's 4 hours a day to begin with. You know, at the start of season, you're in 4 hours a day training with your celebrity, which I don't know if, I have no concept of whether people think that's a lot or not a lot, but it's actually a lot for celebrities that are not used to training. You know, sometimes you go to the gym for between 30 minutes and an hour, you know, hour and a half tops. So 4 hours in a studio learning something, having to be there mentally, physically, is a really long time. And then doing it every day. Like Reggie did not get a day off. And actually the day after that we got eliminated, I was going to give him a day off. And now I gave him weeks off.
He has a little bit of time.
Yeah. So Dancing with Stars is really hard. I think celebrities don't understand at first what they're getting themselves into. And then when they do, they go through a real moment of, oh, this is life-changing, because you're putting so much time and energy into it, and you and your partner have this shared sort of journey and focus together, shared interest of, you know, you're trying to nail this dance, you're trying to make it to like Disney week, you're trying to make it to Halloween week, you're trying to get to the trophy. So it becomes something that you get really passionate and joyous about, and it is the most magical experience. Like I really hope that one day Dancing with the Stars does a Dancing with a not star, you know, a Dancing with a neighbor, where people can come on and they don't have to be famous and they can experience that too, because it is such an incredible experience. And I hope that everybody gets the chance to feel that.
If there was a redemption season and you were to bring back one of those partners for that special season, who do you think in your past would want to do it? Who deserves a redemption season?
Ooh, who deserves a redemption season? That's a hard one, because I feel like if you were to come back as a redemption, then there would be something that you've missed. And there's not that many of my partners, even the ones that have gone out earlier, that I feel like, oh, that wasn't a success. And maybe that's just my mindset. Sometimes I feel like I'm a bit soft as a person, that I can be a bit harder. And I've just started to accept that now, that I'm just kind of a bit of a love bug, and I think everything's great and everything's joyous. So I don't think that I would describe any one of my seasons to be not a success for them. I hope not anyway. But if I was to have someone to come back out of one of my old partners, it would be Rashad Jennings, because he would do it in a heartbeat. We won, obviously. I would like to win again. And he's the most tremendous person. When
you first got him and you guys step into the studio, did you sense something was really on about him?
About Rashad?
Yeah.
Looking back now, I don't really know what was going through my mind when I first met Rashad and we first started training. I knew he was special, but we were actually isolated in Florida for the first few weeks of our training. And so I didn't really have anything to compare with any other celebrities. We were in our bubble and we were just doing our own thing. And I thought between him, me, and the producer, I was like, oh, this is a special team. We really have something special going on. And Rashad was absolutely amazing. He could not rehearse enough. I think we set the record for the most hours rehearsed, because the second that he walked in there, we didn't really do breaks. We didn't even do warm-ups, really. We just went straight into it. And he was infectious to be around. He loved it as much as I did. And it was really like training with my best friend, who could also train really hard, who could comprehend everything, who was really good at taking critiques. And because he was an athlete and he was so focused, I pushed harder on him because I knew he could take it. So he was probably the partner that I was the most focused on, because he had that athletic mind. So I forgot your question.
To bring somebody back, but you answered it.
Oh, he would be the person I would bring back in a heartbeat. And I think he's also creative too. It really helps when you come into this experience knowing that you're going to be creative, that you're going to express yourself. So like, go for it. Be an actress, be an actor, explore yourself, be a full person, be vulnerable. These are all my advice to people who want to do the show. Be vulnerable, be adventurous, have fun, dive into being a human. This is your place to play. Dancing with the Stars is an entertaining show where you can push yourself, you can find the boundaries, you could cry on the floor, you can do Dizzy Dinosaur, like feel it all. It's just a phenomenal experience. But don't come in here and be half-hearted. You got to go all in.
Do you think that athletes have, I don't want to say an edge, because dancing is so to the person.
Yeah.
But in your past, from seeing all the other people, getting your own partners, do you think athletes have more of an edge of picking up the skills because they're kind of trained and they work with coaches?
I do think athletes have the advantage. They have been coached. They're used to taking criticism. They're used to also self-cleaning. And okay, so that might not be in the way of choreography and dancing, but they're used to looking at their performance and analyzing it and then making it better, fixing it, adjusting it. So working with athletes, obviously they can go much further, they can handle more pressure, and they actually do good with nerves too. Nerves is a really big thing on the show. Sometimes you get to the dance floor and the nerves get so much that it all just like topples over like a house of cards. So really it's important to be super supportive to your dance partner and let them know, hey, I'm here for you, and there's no way on earth that you're ever going to let me down in a million years, because you're showing up and you're doing the work.
In your 16 seasons, is there one part of the show that your nerves really kick in? Is it the first episode on premiere night when you're like back in the ballroom and the lights are there and you see the crowd again? Or is it the finale
where the nerves kick in?
For you,
I think it's premiere, because we've been, you know, when it comes to like that September time when you step on the dance floor and it's been about 10 months since you've been, you know, performing on live TV, you do think to yourself, oh my gosh, have I forgotten how to do this? Because it's nerve-wracking. And I don't know if people know this, but when you're in the studio, the camera that's on, there's a little red light at the top of it, and that means it's live.
That's the one camera that's live?
Yeah, the one camera that's live. So there's multiple cameras everywhere. So it could be this camera, it could be that camera, that one that you can't see me on. But they will flicker like a red light right at the top when you're on, and then you kind of just looking at it, and you know that there's millions of people behind the screen watching you, and you're like, oh my god, I hope I don't say something weird. And I'm a weird person anyway, so I'm like, just be normal. And it's really hard, and then you start sweating, and then you're like, is this a normal face? Now I keep looking at the camera, but then you start to overanalyze what you're doing instead of just like forgetting that you know, people are just there just to watch, to be entertained, and to just support, really.
You just did choreography with Alan this past week, right? When you get to do choreography with other pros like that, is it kind of a dream come true that you guys are just picking it up so easily and you're collaborating on it?
Yeah.
What is that like?
So interesting, actually, because that last bit of choreography that I did with Alan was actually supposed to be just me. Just they asked me, could you do this? And I was so out of choreography ideas.
When did they ask you that? Like weeks before? Or?
No, a week before. They were like, hey, could you choreograph this bumper? They call them bumpers. Out of commercial. We bump out of commercial and the pros are going to be doing this dance and it's going to be the pros from the tour. And I said, great, absolutely. They gave me the track and they give me the seconds. And I started to think about things and I was like, nothing is coming to me. So then I asked Alan, I was like, hey, will you help me with this? And he was so instrumental to putting that choreography together. That on the dress rehearsal day, they read the prompter and it was like, oh, choreographed by Emma. And I was like, no, it was choreographed by Emma and Alan for sure. Because I would love to say, oh yeah, that was all me. But it was 100% not. Like, you have to, it's really great to lean on your fellow pros that can help inspire you. And I don't think that we have that competitive nature where we take everything for ourselves anymore, which is a really great environment to be in. So yeah, I needed his help in that for sure.
Is that a lot on your plate considering you're still teaching your celebs, or is that kind of like second nature for a dancer to...
It's both. It depends what week it is. So for me, I was doing the hair metal night, the cha-cha that I did with Reggie. And of course, that doesn't take too much out of me because I'm focused on him. But choreography-wise, I already had that set. So it really is just fun for me to focus on something else. And it's completely different choreographing for professionals than choreographing for a celebrity. It feels different. We get a chance to kind of like expand and
That's what my
do
wife
tricks.
was saying.
Yeah.
When we're watching, we're like, Emma looks like she's having so much fun doing this.
Yes, it's great. And it's like what we do on tour. So when we go on tour, we're dancing with our professionals. And so we get to do what we've trained for literally for decades of our life. And it feels just like, it's like home. You don't have to think about helping somebody and telling them what to do. You're just in charge of your own body and you can be expressive and you know that the couple next to you are doing the same thing. It was really great.
How do you think you've changed as a choreographer from when you first came on the show till now?
I think that that's an interesting question because I think as you grow as a person and you start to appreciate the stillness in life, that sometimes reflects into your art. So now I've appreciated the stillness and the small nuances in my choreography, whereas before, I would be more like, go, 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 go. I think that there's a lot more beauty in the nuance pieces of choreography now. And so when I first joined, I was really grateful that I joined as part of the troupe for 3 seasons before becoming a pro, because I think if I'd have gotten thrown into being a pro, I wouldn't have known what formulas work, because there are certain formulas that work for teaching a celebrity and choreographing for a celebrity specifically. Some things that work for camera don't necessarily work for stage and vice versa.
Like they don't translate?
They don't translate. And then in our competitive world, in the competition scene, our choreography is completely different to what you would put on camera. So there was a really big learning curve for me to step into sort of a position of choreographer. And for that, I really have to thank people like Jason Gilkinson, who is the creative director over at Strictly Come Dancing, as our British counterpart. I did a show with him, his show, for 2.5 years of my life, and it's called Burn the Floor. It was the same show that Sasha Farber's been on, Shauna Burgess, Peter Murgatroyd, Kim Johnson. We all came from that world, and getting to work in close proximity to him and his partner Peter Roby, who are master choreographers, for me was such an inspiration. And then on my Dancing with Stars journey, working with Mandy Moore, who choreographs and creatively directs our tour and has done the show for many, many years, is a blessing, because getting to see how she works and how she thinks, and she's constantly evolving, even at the stage that she's at. And she's one of the biggest choreographers in the world. She choreographed La La Land, she does the Oscars, she does it all. So it's really phenomenal for me to be in the same room, learning from her and trying to absorb what she does and watching her.
You choreographed for Usher.
I did, in a small sort of way, on certain projects, yes.
When you work with someone who has a dance talent like that, is it, especially like a celebrity like that, is it very easy to just teach them what to do?
Well, with Usher, actually, he had a team of people teaching, and so I worked with his main choreographer at the time. She also now works with Jason Derulo, who I've worked a little bit closer with. It is really interesting to work with artists because they have a specific brand and a specific style. So Jason Derulo, specifically is he has like a style and a nuance to him that he likes to keep. So as a partner, he's actually really good at leading. And I've said to him multiple times, I'm like, oh my God, you'd be great on the show. And he's got his own thing going on. But he's a really good dancer, really good listener when it comes to teaching him. He wants to learn the correct way. And he's not really interested in fluffing it. He wants to do it right. And he's really interested in the vibe and getting the passion of it right. He wants to deliver a performance that that inspires and reads well. And he's not interested in anything fake. Like, it has to be like authentic, which I really appreciate.
Let me just move the mic.
Oh yeah.
How'd you first get discovered for Dancing with the Stars?
So I was on a show on Broadway called Burn the Floor, and I did that show with Sasha and Peter and Shana, and actually
in the UK.
No, it was in New York on Broadway.
Oh, Burn the Floor.
Burn the Floor,
okay,
yeah. And it was a touring show, and I did that for about 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, I actually started dating Sasha Farber, who I then married, who's now on the show as well. And he got onto the show before me. So he had this interview. And at the end, I'm fumbling my words now. So Sasha had an interview with Dancing with the Stars. And we had just started to date when he had this interview. So I went along as support. Like, I had no connection with Dancing with the Stars whatsoever. Then he actually got the job, and I was still on this touring show. So I went out to visit him, and he was so sweet. He got me an interview with the producers, and the same producer that interviewed me is still on the show today. His name's Adam Raya, and we're really close. And it was just an amazing story. So I interviewed for them, and then I joined the next season. As troupe. For 3 seasons, and then Sasha and I then both moved up to pro on the same season together, and it was like, I really have him to be thankful for that connect, because I think I possibly would have done the British version of the show, but I would never, I don't think, have been here in America. It's just crazy how things work out like that.
Is that what brought you to America to stay here?
Yes.
How cool.
Yes. So I went on Craigslist with Sasha, and we found I hope it's not weird that I'm talking about this. Sometimes it's like a little bit weird because people, I guess I should say this first. Sometimes I think when you just talk candidly about your life, people pick and choose parts that they want to talk about. But it's really easy for me to talk about like what a wonderful time I had with Sasha. And we did come out together to do Dancing with the Stars. And I remember we went on Craigslist and just found and subletted a 1-bedroom apartment, and it had all of the owner's things in there, and we kind of just made it do for about 2 seasons. We were in this place, and it was just awesome.
In LA?
It was in LA, yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
You spoke earlier too that those first 3 seasons on troupe were so important.
Yes.
Because why? You're learning to see how other people are working with their celebrities?
Well, I had no TV experience when I joined Dancing with the Stars, so you don't really know how to interview, which might seem interesting.
Like for those bumpers?
Well, just you don't know how to be on camera. So you would be watching the pros be on camera. They're just thrown into it. And they'd be on camera for the first time. And it's really hard to maintain being yourself sometimes when the camera's on you and you're like overthinking about what you're saying. So it was interesting being around cameras, being around people of the industry and understanding and watching it all before you were the subject of that. So before you become the pro and you start getting mic'd up and you start being filmed all the time, and then you have to be in charge of a celebrity, they're looking at you like this and you have to teach them for 4 hours and it has to be your choreography. There's just a lot of pressure. So being in the troupe allowed me to understand what was required to be a pro, and it gave me the foresight and the gentle sort of runway to ease up into how to choreograph something.
Do you see similarities in Ezra and Riley from when you first came on? Like, do you remember those moments?
I'm going to say no, because I feel like they're crushing it and they're doing such a fantastic job that I remember being more in my head about things. So I don't know if I do see the similarity. They just seem to be like, I'm so impressed with the people of today who are just coming on here and just effortlessly crushing it. And maybe I did that, but I'm thinking of it differently. But yeah, I think that Ezra and Riley have just this amazing ability to have fun and connect and to maintain their fun, beautiful personalities. And I love the fact that it's so effortless for them and they're able to be authentic. So watching them is awesome.
What happens now for you, Ezra, Britt, Pasha, going forward?
We're going to wait for our new eliminated friends and we're going to keep building our squad and we're going to do bumpers. We're going to do lots of TikToks and we're going to just be in the eliminated crew.
Do you guys still dance on the show going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. We still dance. We have a pros bumper coming up on the next episode, depending on when you air this. So yeah, we'll still dance, we'll create, we're part of opening numbers, and we generally just have a good time, you know, talking about who we think is going to be in the final.
Who do you think?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
I normally don't.
You know, it's completely switched. When I first started the season, I wrote down who I thought was going to win, and I actually
who was going to win?
Yes,
okay.
And now I think I'm changing that. Now I have a clear 3 people who I think I can't see the final without, but I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to sway people.
I think Jen's improvement lasts from the beginning till now is insane.
Jen's improvement is insane. I think my favorite dance that
Joey
they've
and
done,
Jenna.
Mm-hmm. Joey and Jenna is definitely a couple that you want to watch out for. No one expected a bachelor Joey to be able to dance like that. It's pretty incredible.
Do you think that's a lot with Jenna's ability to teach him choreo?
I think that Jenna's doing a crazy great job with Joey. And Joey obviously comes with a really good understanding of movement because he's a really great dancer. He understands performance. What I didn't necessarily expect from Joey is that he would be such a good performer, because sometimes we get people that come on the show that have the ability that he has, like he can do a backflip, that's really cool, but can you do a backflip and then land and then go with your, you know, feel it with your face and then go into the next move? And he did. And so it's really cool to see somebody who knows how to perform and not just knows how to execute the steps. And that's what I think Joey has. And that's kind of rare in a male who doesn't do that for a living. I mean, he doesn't do that for a living. He plays tennis, I think. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, Joey.
Yeah.
He's a tennis instructor.
But what about even Danny doing the backflip? Does that impress you?
It does, because he did it off the stairs and he did it over Whitney. And okay, it wasn't as good as Reginald VelJohnson's backflip, but
Wish that they aired that one.
They aired Danny's, so we have to give it like the credit it deserves. No, I really think that Danny and Whitney have a really great chemistry and an understanding. They're a little bit more quiet, and I like that about them. They're like the type that I watch and I appreciate they have like a masculine feminine quality going on, and he's obviously a really good worker because, you know, football and the Patriots, and that's what he's used to doing. So I'm really impressed with how invested he is in this experience, because sometimes we have people that come on the show that want to do the show but not necessarily for the reasons of they want to dance, and they get a little bit timid. And I can honestly say this season there's nobody like that.
Would you say there's a certain point in the show where you see celebrities, whether, not saying your partners, but celebrities throughout the past, they start to, like, their personal lives start to come back into it? Maybe they're getting other calls for jobs. Like,
yes,
we're like 4 weeks in. Like, you can't push everything off yet.
Yes, exactly. I do think that there are 2 things with the show and celebrities when it comes to their other work. I think that Dancing with the Stars is a really good catalyst for many celebrities to get their face out there and for us to see them as a human, because people fall in love with the celebrities when they go through the journey on Dancing with the Stars, because they're learning something that they've never done before. And so they're in kind of a learning, vulnerable state. And when you're like that, you can't really fake the person that you are. You just have to just be, because you're like a deer in headlights. So people get to fall in love with them. And so what happens is they get a lot more work opportunities. Like we see people then go on to host a lot more things, you know, and we see people go on to then get offered massive jobs and to be season regulars on TV shows, and then they have their own, you know, podcasts that go massive, and the show really, really helps with people falling in love with them like that. And I'm actively trying to get Reginald VelJohnson to be a series regular on some kind of sitcom or long-lasting TV show. A lot of people have said Abbott Elementary. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
online people are like, he needs to be on the show. And I'm like, yes, who do I need to talk to? Because I want to get this man consistently on our screens. I, for one, would love to see that. And I think he deserves it. And from what I've seen, many people would flock to watch
I
Reggie.
think when you do your podcast, first guest.
There you go, first guest. And he's so easy to talk to too. But yes, going back to your question, sometimes work obligations do get mixed in with Dancing with the Stars, and our wonderful casting director Dina, she will have conversations with them prior to that, because it can sometimes be something that we can work around. We will, as the pros, fly with them to New York if they have an obligation in New York, or if they have some press that they can't get out of, then we'll go and do that with them. But we're really like their shadow, their personal little assistant right next to them. When they're ready to dance, we're ready.
When someone is traveling, even like Dwight and Daniela had to go to New York to train there. I saw Glebs and Brooks on a private jet the other day.
Yes.
Does that stress you out as a pro, knowing that now they have to try and do this whole routine for America while they're traveling?
It doesn't necessarily stress me out. I think that everybody's different. So I'm much more of the mindset these days, like, go with the flow. You're going to do it. I don't know. I don't let the little things stress me out as much these days. So no, not really.
Right.
I know that's probably not the answer that you want, but
oh no, I'm just curious, because if that was me, I'd be like, I think I wouldn't be able to handle it. You know, I'd need to be in that set environment where things are controlled and I know where we're dancing and we're doing it here.
No, I think that I've become much more grounded and calm in my journey on Dancing with the Stars, because I understand also that that's better for me, and it's better for the celebrity when your pro is calm and relaxed and understands, no, we got this, we're going to work hard, and but we have it in the bag.
How does the makeup work for the performance day?
So for females specifically, or for those that have like a really big makeup glam set, we will turn up at 7 a.m. on show day. We'll be in the makeup chair for about 2 hours getting ready. Then we'll go to the hair chair. And sometimes they put on, wigs. You've seen it all, right? You've seen the big structured hair and everything. And then we'll get pulled to the stage so that we can do a camera blocking. And if your hair is not like pinned in the right way, it just literally goes everywhere. So then you have to go back to hair and makeup chair for maybe 2 more hours of touch-ups and things like that. And so you're sitting in this makeup every Tuesday, all day, up until like 9 p.m. And then you literally have to scrape it off. The hair is like, sometimes I put conditioner on it just to like set it in, because I don't want to try to brush it with all that hair and, hairspray and whatnot in. It's like a full hour to get out of hair and makeup sometimes.
Do you get a say in how you want it to look? Are they giving you different like options? You're like, oh, I really like that one.
Yes. So a week before we even start working on the dance, there will be a creative meeting where there's kind of like a mood board of what the set will look like, what the outfit will look like. The music is obviously written there, and they'll give you sort of like the rundown of what the lighting will be and what the screens will be. And then within that, the last couple of slides are hair and makeup. And so somebody, her name is Liz, will be putting forward photographs, reference photos of like what the look could look like. And you kind of just go, oh, I love that one. And she'll click it, highlight it, and make that the kind of centerpiece. And then, you just kind of flow with that. But as pros, we definitely have a say. Even as celebrities, you have a say definitely in what you want your wardrobe to look like, what you want your hair, your makeup to feel like. And Dancing with Stars are amazing. They will work with that. And we have the best people possible in wardrobe department, hair department, and makeup department.
Is your sister still part of the show?
She's not. So she's a seamstress. She lives in England. She did the tour. She was on the wardrobe department for a couple of tours that I've done a few years ago, but she's now back in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, she's a twin sister.
Twin sister.
Did she ever dance too?
She did. We first started dancing together actually when we were about 10, and we had like the same matching skirts. I remember specifically same shoes. We would do the same routines, and she did it for about a year, but it wasn't her passion. And so I continued, and she went into atelier actually. So that was like making the outfit. She was more interested in the design and the making of the outfits, and I was more interested in the dancing.
Whose idea was it to bring the cop car into your set?
So for Die Hard, which was week 2 on Dancing with Stars, it was Oscars night. obviously I was thrilled that we were doing Die Hard, and Reggie was like so excited. The whole cop car, and did you see we had a body falling from the sky?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so but that's the thing, people didn't see that as much, but we actually had a Hans from the movie, you know, that he fell from the building. We had a Hans dummy falling from the sky in the ballroom, and it fell behind the cop car at the very start. So if you go back and watch, you can see it. There's like an explosion. We had the Nakatomi building in the screens with the explosion. We had the Hans character falling from the rafters, and then the cop car was there, and that actually came all the way from the network, because there were people really high up in the network that were so excited about doing the Die Hard theme for Reggie that they kind of went all out with the budget, and they went all out with his creative. And then the debris, like little things like you know, there was fans off stage that were blowing in little pieces of paper. That's from the end of the movie when, you know, the building is all in pieces and there's just papers flying everywhere. And so I thought that would be a really good idea to add in there. And you know what? Actually made a really big difference. So I'm glad we did that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you really had a big hand in it.
Not a big hand in the cop car or anything, but a hand in I made him call for backup. Like, that was a thing I really thought should be in there. And then at the end, I was like, hey, do you mind if he says, welcome to the party, pal? And so all of those bits with the radio was my thing. But really, they had big plans for the Die Hard dance, and that was their baby.
Do you go back and watch the final performances?
I do, with pleasure. So with Reggie, I noticed that I'll go back and, you know, as a pro, sometimes you look at your performance, you look at yourself, you look at the whole thing as a package. I'm just consistently looking at Reggie. I'm so captivated by his face and just him trying really hard and him watching me and then understanding what I'm saying. And then like his arms, we would call these sunshine arms, and I would be sunshine arms, and he would just, oh my, it just made me so happy that I would be watching him the whole time.
Are you critical of your own performance?
Yes, I'm a little bit more forgiving now. Just
than
because
when you first started?
Yeah, I've just felt the need, you know, in this day and age to be kinder to yourself, and sometimes it can be a lot. I can be overly critical on watching myself and what I'm doing, and I've had to be really good about like not talking to myself badly and watching out for negative self-talk, and I think people do need to watch out for that. So I'm being a little less critical on myself these days, but I more watch our performances and understand that when you're dancing with somebody who needs a lot of time and attention and the focus should be on them, I'm giving more of my danceability over to them, in the sense of I don't want to overshadow. I don't want to be just thinking about myself and going into this performance where I'm not thinking about my partner at all. No, it's a team. So I do in some ways become more just larger and less refined with my movements because I'm sort of matching my partner. It's more of an empathetic thing that I just fall into, and I'm trying to give myself a bit more grace for that.
Do you consciously try to appease the judges? So like, for example, last week Gene Simmons was there. Mm-hmm. Next week Mark Ballas is there.
Can't wait for Mark Ballas.
So is that because he obviously has that dance background,
right.
Would you cater what you're doing more to impress, like, who's there?
Well, I would say no. I think I would naturally, if I was in the competition this week with Mark Ballas being a judge, I actually think that Mark and I look for similar things in the sense of Mark's just very authentic. He is a master choreographer, one of the best that we've had ever on the show, really, and I rate him so much, and I think that Mark can see through a lot of the
filler
and a lot of the BS, and he can really home in on what's true and what a performance makes you feel. He's a true artist, so he's in touch with his feelings, and so I really respect anything that Mark has to say. And I think if we were in the competition, I think that would be a really good fit, because I think that just Mark loves the essence of Reggie. He told me last week, he was like, I just love when that man gets out there and just does anything. I love it. And so that's awesome to me. But I will say I definitely don't cater to the guest judges, because one, you don't know who those guest judges are. Two,
oh, you don't?
No, you don't know until maybe like a week before. We find out really when the people at home find out, so it's not like a schedule of, you know, who's going to guest judge. for us. And then two, it's really, you have a compass as a pro. You know what to teach your partner, you know what they're capable of. And I think as long as you consistently push the envelope and really try to get your partner to the best that they can possibly be, whilst also feeling fantastic about themselves, that's where you need to go. And we always take what the judges say on board, but you sort of know that yourself. When the judges say things, a lot of the time that's things that you've already been working on, that your celebrity hasn't quite executed yet.
Right. When you finish that performance, you finish the judges, you go talk to the press after. What's that wind down time like for you?
I don't know. I don't really have a wind down time. I don't know why. I just feel like, yeah, I don't really. What do you mean?
Like,
wind
is
down?
there still a high on you from like being on TV?
Oh.
Do you need to try and calm yourself down? Like, let's focus on the next dance.
No, not really. I think because I've done the show for so many years, I have a bit more calmness when it comes to flowing from show to not show. And I have everything already choreographed beforehand. So before we get into the rehearsal studio on Wednesday, after having a big day on Tuesday, of filming, I already have that dance choreographed. And I already know that Wednesday is going to be a really hard day for my celebrity because they've just released so much adrenaline the day before. So for them, there is a big crash. It's almost like a sugar crash. They had so much sugar and then it's like, want to go to sleep. So Wednesday is not a great day. That you can give them the basis of the choreography, and I aim to do that. I aim to always give them the full scope of work on Wednesday, but they're not going to execute it the way that you want because it's day one and they just had a massive day the day before. So their body is tired. They need a break. Mentally, they need a break. They need sleep. They can't regulate their sort of, their levels are all off. They've just released a lot of endorphins. They've just had loads of people on social media tell them how great or how terrible they are. They're going through things. So Wednesday is always a readjustment day. By Thursday, Friday, then you're really getting into the hardcore rehearsals where you start to understand, oh, they are going to get this, or oh, they're not going to get this.
Right. How do you break it down to them? Do you have like a notepad where
No.
it's all in your head?
No, well, choreography wise, I will have potentially a video that I've created with somebody I've prepped with. So for instance, this year I have used Marquette Hill, who is new to the troupe. He's a great guy, friend of mine. And so I would use him to prepare a dance and choreograph for Reggie. So he'll be my Reggie. And I will say, okay, this is what I was thinking, and I'll try it on him, and then we'll come up with something that I'm happy with, and then I'll record it, and that'll be my compass to go on. And I won't really show this to Reggie, but this is just for me to see it visually and to know, oh, that's going to work. And I can try some things on Marquette, and I've used Roman before. Roman's in the troupe as well. I can try some things on them that I'll automatically know this is going to be a little bit too difficult for Reggie to get, or, oh, I can do more there. I haven't done a good enough job because he's doing much more than he should for a less payoff. So it's an adjustment for me. It's really helpful to have those prep sessions, and people don't talk about that on the show. As pros, we prep with the troupe, we film it, and that we call that prep. And the celebrities are not there for that.
Right.
And we'll use that to look at, and sometimes we'll use that to send into the director as our wide, because everybody by Wednesday, Thursday, even though Wednesday is the next day, we will send in a full video of what our dance will look like, whether it's with the celebrity or with somebody else, so that our director has an idea on how to shoot it. And the earlier we get that in, the happier our director is. So we try to get that in as soon as possible. And largely that means that our celebrities won't always be in it. It's sometimes a stand-in. I
know this is kind of outside you, but for the director, when they're picking and choosing the camera angles, do you know how that works?
Our director feels amazing. Yes. I don't 100% know. I can't tell you, oh, this is exactly what he's thinking all of the time. But what they do on the show is, if you notice, a lot of the shots are consistently moving, and that just gives life. Yeah, they're panning in, pushing in, or they're pulling out, or they're panning around. And when you're in a lift, you'll notice that there's a lot of steady cam. So that's the Ronnie, our steady cam operator, will be running around with this massive piece of machinery, this huge camera, running around the couple on the ballroom floor, capturing the best possible angle for a lift, because a lot of the times in a lift you want to be close enough, but you also want a cinematic experience. So they give it the steady cam. We also have a big a jib, which is that kind of looks like this, the big long crane camera that can start really low and they can pull out, and they can actually turn the camera so you can film on the skybox, which is where Julianne is. So there's a lot of just moving parts. We have a spider cam, which costs a lot, and our spider cam operator, his name's Adam. We love him. Yes.
Is that like they use at football games?
Yes,
like,
spider cam at
wow.
football game, and so they call it spider cam because it's it's the camera, and then these it's 4, I think, but sometimes in a football game, maybe it could be like 6 or 8 like lines going to it that operate, and it can adjust, it can rotate, and I mean that is expertly done. Like on our show, they can start that low, pull it out wide. I've had it where it's done a 360, and it's like, wow, I cannot believe that they are filming things this advanced. And Phil Hayes, our director, is just like, he's the master of that. He's done it for so many seasons now.
Does he do every episode?
He does every episode, and he's really the most important part of this whole thing because he's the eyes of the audience. He knows exactly where to shoot things from. So for instance, there'll be moments where us as a partnership will go from side to side on the dance floor, and then we'll throw our energy, say for instance, towards the judge's desk, and Phil, our director, will get that as if the audience are looking at us, so we get to see the expression of the couple, and it's a really beautiful thing because you're feeling the emotions, and he knows how to do that. Sometimes I love it when sometimes not all the footwork makes the camera angles, and for somebody like Reggie, that was like kind of helpful sometimes because footwork was a bit hard, and then sometimes it would be a wide shot and you would see everything. So it's a really good varied degree of the angles that you get, and it's fascinating to me. There's definitely a large fraction of me that is a little bit what's the word, curious about directing, especially directing movement and dance, and I'm a very emotional person, and I think there's a really specific way that you can capture something to keep the beautiful intention in it, and that inspires me and fascinates me quite a bit.
The camera stabilizer guy has to know the choreography of where he's running around to make sure that everything reads on camera.
Absolutely. Ronnie, our Steadicam operator, is absolutely incredible, like an absolute genius.
When does the production come into play as far as like explosions or the smoke in the background? Is that all show day? You guys figure that out? Like
show day? Yeah. So we have like CO2 is the burst of what you would think of as gas. So it looks like it's kind of icy gas, and that's the CO2, and they'll go right beforehand. They'll go CO2, and it'll go 3, 2, 1.
Do you hear that while you're dancing?
No, when we're dancing, they don't cue it. When they're testing it, they cue it. So they will have us before we block on. So we'll block on Mondays. That's camera blocking day. Obviously,
this is so cool.
Oh yeah. So camera blocking day is Monday, and so each couple has like a 45-minute slot to go over their dance, and it's not for us. It's for us to do the dance on the ballroom floor for the cameras. So even if we mess up, the camera, it's not for us. We have to just keep going because the cameras need to. It's their rehearsal basically.
How many times are you doing those dances?
3 times during that time, and the last one will be a cue to cue. So you start with the bumper, and coming up next is, and then the package will play, and then you'll do it with all with the music, with all the cameras,
with the band.
No, it'll be a track. The band aren't in till show day, but all the elements will be in it. On the last pass, all the elements. If you've got confetti, the confetti will be in there. If you've got pyros, which is the fire and the boom, the sparks, the pyros will be in there. If you've got CO2 or if you've got troop, they'll all be in there on that last part on the Monday.
You had like 30 people behind you singing this past one, right?
Yes.
Were they there?
They weren't there. We had stand-ins. We had maybe like 10 people. So we have stand-ins coming in.
Just like placement.
Yeah, and they would be there. But on the show day, there was probably 3 times as many people, and they were legit audience members. They weren't stand-ins. So that was really interesting because that was something that Lindsay Arnold did with Jordan Fisher in their Charleston, and I remembered that they had these beautiful lights and they had people on the audience, and so I suggested that, and to my surprise they were like, oh yeah, let's do it. I was like, oh great, that's awesome.
When do you suggest that? How many days in advance?
About a week and a half we will have, or maybe a week, we have that creative meeting to talk about the week that's ahead of you. I suggested it there, and then when we started rehearsing for it, they were like, oh, it's approved, we're going to have those people on there. I was like, oh great.
Would you have been very excited to do this week 5 dance with Reggie?
I would have been so excited to do dedication night with Reggie, because we were actually going to dance to Family Matters, the theme song, and we may have had some people from the show coming in and ending on the couch with us, and it would have been so cool. I was really excited. I had it all choreographed and everything.
I think that's why I'm so attracted to this show, is that it's so authentic and it's real. And it's like, you guys were prepared, but you got eliminated, so it wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, we're prepared. Like, I have my music for Disney night, and they sent me the edit and everything.
What
And
song?
we were gonna do Up, Married Life. You
Is that an old school song?
It is a little bit of an old school song, but the movie is called Up. Have you seen it with the balloons?
I haven't
and
seen it.
The older gentleman, and he loses his wife, and it's this beautiful little old couple. And I was gonna be in full like makeup and everything.
As like an older lady?
As an older lady, and we were gonna start on chairs, and I was gonna help him out of his chair, and yeah, it would have been really cute.
Did you have your song for the week after that, or that's too far in
I had the
advance?
song, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for
Yeah,
all
don't
this.
say this one.
No, it's okay. It was Ghostbusters, and maybe somebody else uses it, but because it's Halloween, so we were going to do Ghostbusters, and Reggie was actually in Ghostbusters, so that would have been really cool.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah. It's so cool getting to play around with the creatives on the show. Like, as a person, it's so wicked to have an outlet to be an artist, and I think it's important that people find a passion and have an outlet for them to be ridiculous, be over the top, be inspiring. Like, it's really cool to have that outlet, and I absolutely implore anybody to find out what their fun spot area of life is and to just hardcore play in that area.
What was your first impression of Dancing with the Stars when you first heard it?
Well, we in England, which is where I'm from, even though I've got a bit of an Aussie accent, I'm actually from England. We have a version of Dancing with Stars called Strictly Come Dancing, and it's actually the original series, the original BBC series, and every sort of franchise has come out of England.
Same format?
Same format. You have your 12 celebrities, they dance the ballroom dances, we have the judges, we even shared Len. He came from England. Obviously, he did the British show as well as the American show, as did Bruno. Alfonso has been a guest judge on the British version of the show, as has Derek, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But we share a lot of the same, people, and we're exactly the same show, but just the British version over there. So I'm obviously really familiar with the format, and I grew up watching it. I grew up watching Strictly Come Dancing, and in America now being part of it. It's the difference between the American version and the English version is the English version is a little bit more catered to the English humor. We're a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. We're a little bit more cheesy. I think it would be probably too cheesy for the American audience, and potentially a little bit more. Oh God, I don't want to offend anybody because they're so wonderful and unique, but it's like a little bit more tongue in cheek. Have you seen the Carry On films in England? It's just kind of funny. So we have the British humor thing going on in England, and I think in America everything is massive and they do things, it's bigger and there's more of it, and it's
so America.
And it's so America. And so it's really cool for me to be over here and to get to do a version of the show that is just so big and massive and popular, and I'm loving seeing people get reconnected with the show again here in America.
Did you watch the British version of The Office?
Oh yeah, I watched the British version.
Is that
of
better than the American?
Yes. No, I did. But you listen, when you grow up on something and it's like, that's my thing. I grew up on the English version of The Office and I loved it. And sometimes it is so cringy. I have to look away. Like, it's so cringy. And the American is a little bit more enjoyable to watch in the sense that it's not as cringy. There are awkward silences in the English Office that I feel like actively and truly depicts the English awkwardness, because there's a kind of polite awkwardness that happens in England that doesn't happen in America, because in America
we're not polite.
no, it's not that. But you guys, quite rightly so, don't feel obligated to fill the silence and to take care of other people's sort of, emotional needs. Whereas in England, it's a little bit like, oh, I must do this because it's polite and it's awkward. And I still do that.
Do you know the band Busted?
Yes, of course.
Do you like them?
Yes. I grew up on Busted. Oh my God. What was that song? Now I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to listen to Busted. But yeah, I grew up on them.
I play pickleball with James.
You do?
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine.
They live out here?
Yeah.
No way. You have to say, hey, I've got an English friend called Emma, and she says hi.
Okay.
I love Busted. That's
Who was
awesome.
your favorite? Was it?
I don't remember the names. I remember James. Now you've got, who are the names?
Matt and Charlie.
Matt. See, now you say it. Now I remember them.
Matt's hosting Love is Blind. The UK version.
Don't watch it.
Oh.
I don't watch Love is Blind. I watch Love Island.
Okay.
And I watch Traitors, and those two, and of course Dancing with the Stars, are like my 3 guilty pleasure reality TV shows.
Okay. What other British music do you like? I can't believe you like Busted. That's so cool.
Oh, of course. I mean, just this morning I was listening to Oasis. Like, I do a lot of the, Arctic Monkeys. It's got like kind of like Brit rock type of thing. And
McFly?
McFly? So you're in the era of like the 2000s. You're talking about the 2000s, and there was also like Westlife. And how come you know all these? Honestly, all British 90s, even 80s, 2000s, I will know them all. Bewitched was a staple. There's a girl group.
Was that a band?
Yes, it was a band, a girl group. I don't know if you'd know them. But do you not remember, hey boy, sitting in the tree. No,
I don't know that.
Oh, it was around the time of like McFly and Busted. Oh my God, my friends. Oh, Blue. You must know Blue. No, you know all these big Blue, and then there was JLS. That was a little lesser known, but oh yeah.
I think I only knew Busted.
Busted and McFly, they're more skatey.
Yeah. I came across them, and then I loved them, and then I found out they broke up, and then I liked Son of Dork, and then I found Son of Dork broke up. Do you know James?
Don't know if I know Son of Dork. Is that
James's new band.
Oh, okay. Don't know if I know them. I have to get acquainted though.
Yeah, my Busted CD.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my gosh, let me see this. I want to see what they're... Oh, you've got a cassette tape. That's awesome. Crash the Wedding. Oh, I love it. So if I will meet you there, why better than this? No, there's another one. The year 3000. Not much has changed, but we live underwater. Sorry about my my singing. 3 a.m. I know this one. Crash the Wedding as well. I know that one. I just can't think of what it sounds like. Sleeping with the light on. Oh, I remember all of that. That's awesome. You have to tell him I said hi.
I will.
So let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
What has the evolution of your podcast been? So what was the idea that you started off with, and where are you now?
I had somebody that I was doing it with, and he wanted to do the podcast, but I kind of didn't want to. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up doing it. And we did it for like 2 years. He had to stop, and then I kept going, and I wanted to have guests. Mm-hmm. So I started bringing in different people I knew from like the internet world, social media stuff, and then I started branching out into like musicians, and I got like the Backstreet Boys to come over, and then I got into like voice actors and like SpongeBob, Winnie the Pooh. This is
really cool.
It's really just anyone that I genuinely found interesting, because I knew that's the only thing that would really translate. I didn't want to just interview people.
You're so spot on. Like, it has to be something that you're interested in, because if we listen to you interested in what your guests are talking about, then that's interesting to us. Like, it's interesting. Passion breeds passion.
Totally.
And so what you're passionate about, other people are going to be passionate about.
And I think the other thing with that is that I'm going to do all the digging about the person to really find out.
Yeah, exactly.
So like when I had James on, it's like I'm going to dig in to find out what makes him interesting for people who might tune in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, if you want help with your podcast at all too, I can help you with set up. I know cameras, 100%. Lights, all that. 100%.
Stuff. I will be calling you. It's interesting because I also host a show called Hollywood After Dark, and it's a new project that, well, the people that are licensing out and that have that licensing aren't new. They've been doing this for years. However, Hollywood After Dark is a new show, and it's kind of like a variety talk show where guests will come on and they'll talk about what they've got going on, talk about health, wellness, fun things, projects that they've got going on, their own passions and life stuff, the balance of like work life, all of that fun stuff. And then they get to showcase what they're known for, whether that be like comedy or singing or acting or whatever there is. They get to sort of like have a place to talk about that and promote what they've got going on. And so the people that I'm doing that show with are actually in the process of obtaining a podcast studio, and we're renovating it and making it kind of a space for podcasters to come and use whenever they like. And we're also entertaining the idea of, do I want to have my own podcast? And it's something that I've ummed and ahed about. And then you go through waves of like, I don't know, people find that interesting. But the reason why I like coming on here and talking to you is because you have the right balance. Like, you're genuinely interested in connecting with people and talking and learning about them. And that just translates so well. It's just people talking to people, and it should be a beautiful thing. And it is a beautiful thing. And so why wouldn't people be interested in that?
I think that's exactly it. Plus, it's also, if you do this, maybe it doesn't take off, but in 3 months or 6 months, you'll also have all this experience of what you were doing that leads to the next thing.
100%. Life is so funny like that. You just got to keep the velocity going and keep opening doors and doing things that you love, because that inevitably leads you to places that you never thought were even there.
Yeah. Like, this started with me and another guy talking to each other at a table with like uncomfy chairs, and these backgrounds were not filled at all.
Oh, really?
And then I got like more lights. I got rid of the table.
Put this up.
I put this up. He left. I got old chairs, and then I got these new chairs because they look better on camera and they're way comfier. And I got I used to hold the mics, but now we have mic stands.
Love it.
And it's just like piece by piece it started like coming together.
Yes. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know what you need? You need your Instagram like somewhere here.
I know. I don't use the wide though, because it doesn't really look that good. That's why. Yeah.
Maybe there's a couple of cutaways where it's like, oh, now we can feel where they are because of the wide.
Maybe this shot will make it in.
Maybe this shot will make it in.
Hey guys. Have you done other outside choreographing stuff, kind of like with the usher?
Yeah, I've worked on So You Think You Can Dance, along with Sasha Farber. We've done, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 seasons of So You Think You Can Dance. Not the last season that they did. That's really fun for us because we're working with dancers and teaching them ballroom, which is what we do. But they're already dancers, so they can actually do a lot more. They can do more tricks even than we can sometimes. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And then in terms of other choreography, I work with Jason Derulo a lot. Worked with
so
Usher.
Cool.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a really great guy. Worked with a couple of his music videos and things like that. And there's going to be so much more that I'm going to kick myself because I don't even think about. But yeah, little bits.
Brandon Armstrong was saying that with his partner, like Chandler, she has so much capability. Does that make it harder for you to do choreography when they're so able to do anything?
I think there's a lot of pressure that lands on you as a choreographer and as an instructor when you have a celebrity like Chandler, because they are so good. So you end up losing sleep over the fact of, am I doing a good enough job? And I think Brandon's doing a really incredible job with her. His choreography is wonderful, and he is showcasing it now more than ever. Now he has somebody like Chandler, and her capabilities are literally endless. I mean, you've seen her legs in the rumba. She did this leg and it was extended. It was extended so beautifully. She's phenomenal. And so, yeah, as an instructor, you can get in your head about, am I doing a good enough job? I wouldn't say it's harder because you actually have more choice to do anything from. So you can do lots of things. And then the hard part is, am I picking the right thing to do?
What about with like Dwight Howard having such a big frame, having a wingspan of 7 feet long?
Yeah.
Is that crazy to work with someone like this?
Oh, that's crazy. I think the height difference between Daniela and Dwight is hilarious. And it's so good. She is so smart. Daniela knows exactly how to dance with someone who's as tall as Dwight, even though he's taller than Iman Shumpert, who she won with. But she is so creative, and she is just a powerhouse in choreography and flexing her creativity on somebody who is tall and somebody who is built differently, and she uses it to her advantage, and it's to the delight of everybody who watches them, because I mean their choreography and the routines that they do are so impressive and so outstanding. It's really a testament to her strength.
Is there anyone else that you'd want to dance with for the future seasons?
For future seasons? God, I always get this question and I never know what to say. I really don't know. I'm like the worst person for
No one on
having...
Love is Blind or...
No one on Love is Blind. I don't watch Love is Blind, but I do watch Love Island. I love Love Island. Oh, you know who's good at dancing? Well, actually, quite a lot of them on Love Island is good at dancing. It's terrible English, Emma. His name is Kendall. Kendall from Love Island. I've watched his TikTok. He's actually a really good dancer. So there's good people out there that I'm like, oh my God, you'd be great on the show.
I feel like they'd be the next wave on the show.
They would be a really good wave on the show. I mean, Love Island is massive. Traitors is massive. Both of those shows, I'm a big fan of both.
That's with Teresa Giudice?
No, that was Phaedra. Phaedra was on Traitors. It's actually a Peacock show, so sorry, ABC. It's a Peacock show, and it's the show where they go to the Scottish castle, and there are maybe 20 celebrities, and there's 3 traitors among them, but nobody knows who they are, and so they all act like faithful. Have you never seen that show?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's on Peacock. You have to watch it. It's really good. Phaedra, who is now on our show Dancing with Val, she was on Traitors, and she was a traitor, and she was magical. And oh, sorry, spoiler in case people are watching. She was a traitor. She was my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
you
when
would have
she
loved to be
joined
dancing with her too, huh?
Oh, I'd love to dance with Phaedra. She is so awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of people in this season that are just wicked to talk to. Joey's amazing. Oh, I really like Ilona. She's a beautiful person and she's hella funny. So I love like getting to chat with her. Jen is really sweet. Just like awesome people that truly want to be there.
With Ilona, you said she taught you about the TikTok stuff of just posting?
Well, Ilona,
or you just learned?
I just learned that from her. Ilona is so authentic that when she films something, she doesn't have drafts. She just pushes it straight out. And I witnessed that and kind of got to know that about her. And I was like, oh, why am I filtering my stuff? I should be more like Ilona. I should live and be the same person in real life that I am on social media. And I think for the most part I am, but the sheer fact that she just doesn't think twice about putting content out, whether it's good or bad, she just puts it out, I think is just a testament to how special that she is. So I learned that from her for sure.
Are you excited for the tour?
I'm so excited for the tour. We have a great lineup coming with us, but there's going to be more on that in the next coming weeks. I'm so excited.
You host the tour, right?
I do. Yeah, that came about a couple of years ago. I really love to host it. I don't necessarily... Hosting is unique because I never actually want to make things about me, and I hope that people don't think that. And I always have I think I have to work with my own self to kind of tell myself that it's okay to want to host. Does that seem like a really crazy thing to say? Sometimes I think that other people, oh, that makes sense that they're a host, or that makes sense at this. But when it comes to myself, I need to get out of my way a little bit more. So a couple of years ago, I said to the tour, I would love to host. And then they said, we would love to have you host the tour. And it was the most amazing day for me because it was a conversation that I wouldn't have had with them if I hadn't have expressed my desire to do that. And the fact that the tour believed in me enough to have me take the mic and be more of an anchor for the celebrities that were coming in and out of the show was unbelievable for me. So I'm really grateful for the tour for giving me a gentle platform and a massive platform at the same time for me to host and to learn kind of how to do that, really.
With that being said, can we fire through some fan questions?
I would love to.
Would you ever consider being a judge on Dancing with the Stars one day or a host?
I would 100% love to be a judge or a host on Dancing with the Stars. I think it's a dream, right? You know, this is a show that we love and I've been in for 15 years and ballroom dancing is what I've grown up doing for 25 years plus now. So yeah, I would absolutely love to do either.
Is ballroom dancing really about the frame and just having that, or what is ballroom dancing exactly?
Oh my gosh, let me explain this, Joe. So It can be a little bit confusing, but the term ballroom dancing is given to this style that we do. But actually, for us in the competitive world, it's ballroom style, which is 5 styles, and then we also have Latin style, which is 5 styles. But the umbrella term ballroom dancing kind of encompasses all of those 10 styles.
Oh, and that's like foxtrot, paso roble.
Paso Robles is a place, but Paso Doble is the dance. Paso Robles is where the wine is from, I think. So the term ballroom dancing covers all 10 dances for sort of for what we use it for. However, in the competitive world, ballroom dancing is waltz, tango, foxtrot, quick step, Viennese waltz. So those 5. And then you have the Latin dances, which we just call ballroom. But these are the Latin dances: cha-cha, jive, rumba, samba, paso doble. And then you have salsa and Argentine tango and some other ones that, like, we do contemporary on the show, we do jazz on the show. Those 4 kind of are on the outskirts, but the ballroom dancing we just use as a blanket term for all of it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why everyone's trained in those, because they're all ballroom dancers.
Everybody's trained in those 10, yes.
Got it. What's your favorite season of Dancing with the Stars, not including this one?
I think one of my favorite seasons of Dancing with the Stars is obviously season 24 when I won with Rashad Jennings. Like, it was the easiest, actually. I was the least stressed. I don't know why. Looking back, I'm like, how did I handle that so well? But I think that was probably a key to the success of it, was to the fact that we were just doing us and we just rolled with the punches, and we didn't ever think that we were the winners or back ourselves in that way. We just performed and did the best that we could, and then we ended up, holding the mirror ball at the end. So I definitely would say season 24.
Where do you keep it now?
It's actually at my house. Yeah, I need to polish it off a little bit. Yeah.
What do you think this season has taught you about yourself as a dancer?
Ooh, this season has taught me so much because of Reggie. It's really taught me to contact my family more. And these aren't really dance related, but Reggie as a person put so much emphasis on, oh, how is your mom? How is your dad? He would always ask me every day, how are your parents? What do they do today? And if I didn't know what they were doing, I would feel bad because he wants to specifically know. So I would be like, you know what? Let me just call them. And they're in England, right? So it's 8 hours ahead. So I would call them and be like, what did you do today? And I had much more of contact with my family because of Reggie. So that's something that I really took away from it, is it's more important for me to call mom and dad more.
How are the songs selected for tour?
For the tour, for the most part, Mandy Moore, who is our creative director and our choreographer, she will pick the lineup of the songs, and they have to flow for her. So she has a master plan and an idea and a structure on the sort of sections of the tour, and the songs, they speak to her, and she's got this incredible ear on knowing what moves people and what's going to flow perfectly together. So she'll arrange those songs in an order that she sees fit, and of course, right down to the last moment, some will be in and some won't make the cut, and they'll be chopping and changing. And then she will also gather kind of information from the people on the road and say, hey, well, if you were to do a style with this person, what style would you do? If I wanted it to be more slow, give me some options on what you would do. And if you can send through any pieces of music, I'd love to hear it. And then she'll have the final say, like, yes, no, yes, no. But for the most part, for me, I send her through some options sometimes, but more in the aid of helping her. I'm so go with the flow these days on what I do, but not because I'm not serious about being passionate about it. It's more that I'm trusting other people to delegate things for me, and I'm finding the enjoyment in other people's choices.
Stupid question. Are they bringing like not the whole makeup crew with
no, we do our own makeup and hair on the show, on the Dancing with Stars tour.
What about wardrobe? Is it the same thing every night?
Same thing every night. So the wardrobe crew will come with us, not the full wardrobe crew from the TV show. However, it is the same head of wardrobe, male and female, from the TV show that does the tour. So they will fit us in the costumes. They'll pick the costumes, they'll make everything, then they'll send it on the road with us with 2 dressers that will do the quick changes.
How many buses is it?
2 or 3 buses.
And that's with everybody?
Everybody on there. That we've got a crew bus. Usually about 3 buses. We'll do a crew bus and we'll do 2 cast buses. And then, of course, there will be trucks too that will drive with us, maybe 3 trucks.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. It's so much fun. It's really, you got to be cut out for tour, you know, because you sleep on the bus every night.
You have a bunk?
Yeah, we have our bunks. Yeah.
Where do you sleep?
Again, you could probably pick up a theme from this. I'm so go with the flow these days that I kind of like let other people have their pick and then I'll sort of pick. I preferably would, I flip flop. Let me think about it. This season, I think I'm going to take a top bunk, because if you're on the bottom bunk, you can feel the engine a little bit.
Because is it split into threes? What?
Twos. So sometimes it's threes, and if it's threes, I actually like the middle bunk. I don't know. It's maybe the, being safe in the middle. That's kind of what I like. But if it's split in twos, I like the top bunk because you don't feel the engine as much. I can do the bottom bunk too, but then, it's a bit louder down there. So,
I did a tour once and I liked the bottom one because I felt like I had my own little personal space.
Yeah, no, because you're by people's feet.
And yeah, so no one's talking to you.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, I like that too. It's hard to get your own personal space on tour. You have to find your time. So in the mornings, you got to go out and get up early. I like to get up early and go to the coffee shop by yourself. Like I'm big into reading and writing these days. And so I've always been big into reading and writing. And so I try to find time to do that. It doesn't always work out that way. I'm also a big music person, so I need to put my earphones in and listen to music in order for me to meditate and calm down.
Year 3000.
Year 3000, busted.
Other than Reggie, who did you want as a partner for this season?
Ooh.
Was there anyone you were speculating?
At first, I was speculating that I might have Danny Amendola, but I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why I thought that. But to be honest, there wasn't anybody that, and I know everybody says this, and of course we're eliminated, so isn't it everyone's goal to go further? I'm really happy that I got partnered with Reggie, and I wouldn't change it for the world. If there was a button in front of me, and I know people at home are like, oh, she's so full of shh. But if there was buttons in front of me and it was like, pick a partner that you'd want, I would pick Reggie because he means so much to me. And, turning up to work with him every day and telling him I would choose you is the truth, because I would choose him. He's awesome. And I miss him. I've already been messaging him. I've always been asking for videos. I've sent him selfies of me. Here I am. I want him to still feel like he's connected. So, I would never leave him. So I'm sending him pictures. I'm sending him videos and voice notes. Just telling him, hi, miss you, love you. Tell me about your day. He's a contact person. So I've been in contact.
I want to see you guys do food reviews. Go through the drive-thru together.
Okay. That's good. I'm going to take notes
fun.
from you. Okay. Get ready with me with Reggie.
Yes.
And food review. He's a Haagen-Dazs ice cream person, so maybe I'll take him some different ice creams and
I want to hear his opinion.
Have him rate it. Oh, that's such a good idea.
I want you to do your makeup routine, and I want him to do the voiceover for it.
That's brilliant.
Today, grabbing this stuff.
I'm gonna schedule a day next week where I will go over and or maybe I'll even do it on Monday. Content day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Reggie, give me 2 hours and I bet you I can squeeze 10 TikToks into those 2 hours.
Make it happen.
But I really like the Haagen, if I give him the Haagen-Dazs, how you can get the ones with the caramel in there. And listen, he doesn't have to eat it all, but I can be like, right, give me your thoughts. And then I can note on paper and I can write them down for everybody for just a nonsense ice cream review.
He gets a little judge panel, 10. He gets 10. To give it a 9 and 8.
Exactly.
What is Emma's favorite thing about hosting Dancing with the Stars tour?
Honestly, my favorite thing about hosting is connecting. It is so awesome for me to look out into the audience and focus on specific people and know that they came here and this is maybe their first time, maybe their 8th time coming to see the tour, but that they are welcome. It's going to be a new and exciting show every single day, and I get to connect with that, and that's fulfilling for me. I really love to connect with people. I love to play with the words. I don't really stick to a script, but I don't stick to a script. It's new and exciting every day. So, if something happens, you react to that and you just make it a brand new day, personal personal everything. It's just so exciting to be able to do that on a show as big as Dancing with the Stars. It's a real pleasure for me.
I'm going to come out this year to the tour.
Please come out. We're going to
it.
be doing the Dolby Theatre in LA.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, and we may add another show.
You don't know who's coming, who else is... Do they announce the celebrities yet?
They haven't announced the celebrities yet. There will be obviously, well, not obviously, but there will be more than one. And I think it's going to be really exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So coming up, what else are you going to be doing now for the next coming weeks?
I'm going to be working on, you know what? I kind of want people's opinions. I'm going to be working on creating my own. Maybe you can help me out with this because you're an ideas person. I really want to create my own products, but I don't want to do the general. I don't want to do the norm, but I have had this belief in my mind for years now that, oh yeah, certain people make products and certain people don't. And I think now I've realized that I can do anything that I want to do. If I really want to do it, I don't have to think that specific walks of life are designated for specific people. Maybe I didn't grow up that way, but I can be a business owner and I can create something that I'm really proud of. And so I'm stepping into that power a little bit. Not a little bit. Come on, I'm stepping into the power. And so I'm going to focus my attention on that because now I really want to create something that I'm proud of. And I think that writing is going to be in my future. And I think creating a product that I really love. And there's a couple of different ideas. And so and it's not to create a product, but really what it is I want to create and I want to provide and I want people to feel understood. And it's not really that I would like myself to be understood more than I want everybody to feel understood. So I'm working on what that is, if that makes any sense at all.
It totally does. And I'm sure people will support it. People love you.
Yes, I want people's ideas because, I love communing with people. I love connecting and I kind of want to build on something. I want to create with people. Part of me is like, I want to step into the world of mental health a little bit more. And there is a feeling inside me that's like, well, Emma, you're not qualified. You don't have any expertise, like clinically in, having the education that you can speak about mental health. But really, as a person, we ought to feel qualified to support other people. Like you ought to feel qualified to share your love and experiences as a human. And that's enough qualification. If you want to help, you can help. And so I've had to also tell myself that too, because there's a really large part of me that really does want to help with people that are a little bit more sensitive. I found out a few years ago, there's a term called HSP, and it stands for highly sensitive people or highly sensitive person. And a friend of mine explained that to me, and I've become more aware of it because it really, really accurately describes how I feel a lot of the time. When someone who is HSP, highly sensitive person, is in a situation where there are loud noises or there's a lot of intense energy and it can feel very, very strong, you're sensitive to that, and it can sometimes feel like your nervous system gets so reactive that it's like you've put your fingers in a plug socket and that you're electrocuting your nervous system, and you don't want to, but you start crying or you start feeling overwhelmed or you start feeling overstimulated and frazzled and that you need to step away. But for me, a lot of the time, I will find myself crying in times where I feel really calm and powerful, but for some reason I'm being super affected by something around me. And it's because I'm a highly sensitive person. And not enough people know about that. Not enough people, it's more people that are around highly sensitive people. There is a way that you can communicate that doesn't involve such intense, strong emotions coming on so strong, and for people to feel sort of comfortable around that. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. I feel like that's me.
Oh, yeah.
I go to events all the time, and when I get there, I'm just overstimulated. I'm like, let's go.
Yes, exactly. It's so many people these days are just feeling so overstimulated, and there's such a massive degree of things that are designed to keep our attention, and we're just flickering from one piece of information and one piece of stimulation to another, that it's hard for humans to just be silent and to be calm and to regulate our nervous system. And so that's what I deal with a lot. And I really want to talk about that more. And I want to help, I don't know, create a support group of some kind. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's just an environment, just a platform where people can talk to people and to have almost like a buddy system and to just keep the conversation going and just to generally not feel alone.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't.
Make
I should
one.
start there.
Make one.
Maybe I should start there.
Yeah.
There's also a thing of when you're known, for me, I've been known as a dancer for so long, and I've put myself in that box and that identity that sometimes it's hard for me to convince myself that I can be seen as something else. And I know that that might be just a wall and a barrier for me. And so if I step out and say, for instance, create a YouTube channel and I'm talking about mental health and I'm talking about sensitivities, and I could talk about this all day, and consciousness. I love just the world of expanding and feeling your inner potential. It is so interesting to me. But if I went and did a YouTube video talking about that, there's part of me that feels like I don't know if people would take me seriously, and that's a fear of mine that I just need to overcome.
I think once you just do it,
your
your tribe will come
100%.
and people will be attracted to it.
100%. You know, I need to do that. It should be my first video, overcoming the fear of just being seen differently and just being seen. You know, it's a fear of people to be seen, and I know that's a fear of mine for sure. Even though I'm on TV.
Every week.
Every
live.
week, doing this. Punch! Doing my best.
Drop!
Flip!
Thank you so much for coming by.
Of course. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Emma's is going to be linked down below. Your new channel is going to be linked down below. Maybe. If
Maybe not. If not, my TikTok. Don't worry. All ridiculousness is going to be on there for sure.
Lightweights. Out. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I
That
loved
was
it.
so good.
Yay!
And also, if you guys want to try Magic Mind, there's a code linked down below. You can get up to 48% off on your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchase with the code LightweightsJV20 at checkout. You can claim the code now at magicmind.com/lightweightsjv.